Hang on. Okay. We have lift off.
And we have some people. That's nice.
Oh.
Oh. What have you done?
Possibly broken everything. Who knows? Who knows?
Did you get Twitter up on here? So we don't have to look on there.
Oh, yeah, but you can't copy the URL there, can you?
No.
Right, I'm just trying to tweet a link out, and then we can get going.
I'm doing the same thing. I'll tell you guys.
So bad at this.
That's a great screenshot of my face.
Your hair looks awesome today, so it's fine.
All right, who we got? Hello, Julie. Hello,
Hello, guest.
Hello, guest. We don't know who you are, but hello, welcome. Are you feeling better?
Do you want to do the proper thing of introducing our lovely guests?
Shouldn't we? Yes. We are here with the lovely ladies from GetVokl. I don't know if you can. I assume everybody can see the names underneath, but that's Katey at the top there, and that's Natalie down the bottom there.
Hi.
Yeah, I'm assuming the order is the same for everyone watching
so.
as well. We really don't know how this platform works.
If
So
it's not, we apologise for confusing everyone. But they're here to talk all about Buffy the Vampire Slayer with us, because that is a topic on which we are all well-versed and enthusiastic.
do you want to introduce your podcast quickly?
Yeah, we can do that.
Go on, do the sales pitch.
The sales pitch.
So two weird post-college grads who live in different states and were very good friends at university decided to talk about one of the things that brought us together at university, and that is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So every week we do feminist media criticism 20 years later, talking about what works, what doesn't work, story structure, CGI, etc. And a big part of it was a vehicle for Katey to talk about her number one passion, which is the spinoff Angel, which we also do on our other podcast, Angel Unslayed.
That was my long con game when I told you about doing the Buffy podcast. I just wanted to talk about Angel. You know,
And
Buffy.
I called her on it immediately.
Sometimes you just have to get through the hard bit to get to the fun bit.
Yeah.
And you're currently up to what season?
Season
on Buffy?
5. We just on Monday we just recorded 17 and 18, Forever and Intervention. So like right after Joyce dies. So it's been a little emotional the past.
Yeah,
Hard few weeks for you guys.
because that might color some of the answers.
Possibly, yeah. Well, I'm in a very, very season 1 headspace, because we've just finished. Well, I say,
You guys,
2 months ago. Just
you
finished
guys aren't.
season 1, and then I just finished listening to you guys talk about season 1. So I'm in this very like, I want to watch Prophecy Girl kind of headspace. Very interesting.
But you guys aren't going episode by episode, right? It's you're just doing essentially.
No, so we're doing selected highlights.
Cool. You make,
That's what we can cope with.
how do you make those decisions?
Yeah, we couldn't. A combination of the episodes that we really liked and really wanted to talk about, and the notion was kind of, if you strip all of the kind of superfluous stuff away, what episodes do you need to watch in order to understand the season arcs? Which is actually surprisingly few episodes, because
It gets more episodes
it gets
the
more
later
episodes
seasons.
the later it is,
Yeah.
but like the seasons are all pretty tidily themed, so it was actually kind of like, if you wanted to just like get the gist of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, what episodes would you have to watch? And we got it down to 52,
Something thereabouts,
something
yeah.
like that, which isn't too bad.
No, that's
7
not. That's
seasons.
actually pretty good for 7 seasons. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
we're pretty proud of ourselves.
With a kind of asterisk, because we're also thinking we might later on, after we've done the seasons, want to do a kind of a run to talk about Spike, and a run to talk about Giles, and a run to talk about Angel. So we kind of took out the very character-centric episodes. So Angel in season 1 isn't actually in our season 1 essentials because he's going to be in an Angel series.
Possibly.
Maybe. If we ever get there.
We set ourselves up for failure 90% of the time. So.
Relatable.
Yeah.
But it does very nicely lead us to our first question. What is everyone's favorite season of Buffy?
I need to preface this entire conversation saying the back half of Buffy I'm not as familiar with. So like 5, 6, and 7, I've not actually seen all the way through. I've seen pretty much the essential episodes you need to see for the back half of Buffy. But I will say, like, the beginning half of Buffy, like seasons 1 through 4, I've seen multiple times over and over again. So I feel pretty confident to say that like my favorite season is season 3, even without seeing 6 and 7 all the way through. Season 3 is definitely my favorite season, with season 2 coming in at a close second.
Season 2 is good.
Although, not to get off on a tangent or anything, but when I first was watching Buffy, I got stuck in season 2 and like couldn't move past it. I don't know why.
I'm gonna say this is unpopular, so serving the controversy immediately.
Go for it.
I'm gonna tie my favorites as season 2 and season 6. Yeah.
Interesting choice.
I'm going to join Natalie on tying season 2 and season 7.
Yeah.
That's even more controversial.
You usually say 5.
I quite like 5 too. I quite like all the seasons. But everything ends in 7, and then everyone's happy and also sad.
That's true. It's true. That's what happens at the end. Mine's 3.
Yep.
3 with a bullet.
Yes, me and Ruth.
Followed by 2, probably, and then probably then getting into 5, 6, 7. I don't know.
Are we doing this like in a point scoring system? Does that mean season 3 is 1?
I think so. I think it should.
And me and Natalie have lost.
I mean, have we though?
We didn't team up. Next time we'll know better.
There'll be an
We'll team up.
Clearly wrong. Yeah.
So, on the next question, what's the least favorite season?
4.
I think I'm gonna have to go with 4 too.
Yeah.
It has to be 4.
And you know what?
Who likes the initiative? Who thought the initiative was a good big bad?
I mean,
Really?
Yeah.
In their heart.
so the initiative is kind of like my whole thing with the initiative is like, at the time it aired, it makes no sense. But in America today, if like a modern Buffy had an initiative season, I would be like, oh yeah, terrifying and relevant. Great. But not the case. And also Riley bummed me out, so no thank you.
I think it's like there's a sort of interesting in theory thing. I think the sort of government conspiracy theory is interesting, but in practice didn't work out so well. Julie says, I enjoy season 4 as a disaster, as a metaphor for how your first year of high school is also usually a disaster because you don't know how to be a person in different situations. Yes.
I will.
Yeah.
Well, I think season 4 is fine if you take the initiative away.
Or just make it more compelling. It's just the Adam bit.
Well,
So-
it would also give it away too early. Like, I think if the initiative was drawn out throughout the season and it was like a bigger conspiracy, I would have been like into it. But
Well, it was also the experimentation went nowhere. Because the initiative comes back in season 5 for like a very brief bit, and when we were on these episodes, Natalie and I sort of like pitched this entire idea of like the initiative operating as they do in season 5, but during season 4 would have been way more effective, or where they just take out the initiative part and they're just sort of this like paramilitary group of people who keep budging in on Buffy's cases, and so there's more of a foil there rather than you've got like the scientist part that just doesn't go anywhere. Plus then you give Spike a chip and don't know what to do with him for like 3 seasons.
Right.
Yeah. I also I don't know. I mean, it's been a really long time since I've seen it, and I really don't rewatch season 4 very often. But off the top of my head, I can't even tell you what the point of Adam was. What did he create, like a killer monster that was gonna be a uber military dude?
Everybody like him.
No. But what was the point of making him?
Oh, yeah, I think Uber Soldier.
Uber Soldier.
And also a sort of Frankenstein, just to see if I can, kind of a vibe.
Because I feel like that never went anywhere.
Abby and Rachel are here also. Hello, Abby and Rachel. Sorry.
Once Adam got loose, or right after he killed Professor Walsh, and then he gets loose, the whole Frankenstein bit just ends really fast. Because he should be questioning who he is and what he'll do, but then he just kind of decides he's a monster and stays that way.
I mean, I almost think Adam would have been interesting if we had more episodes of him as the child killer in the woods. And, we played on that urban legend element. Especially because, I mean, the child killer in the woods is the urban legend. Red Riding Hood was back then. So I feel that would have made a lot of it more globally relatable. And instead they minimized all that.
And him dissecting the child to, see what was going on the inside. That was cool.
Yeah. I also feel like we didn't lean into the kind of magic versus science, myth versus investigation kind of tension enough. The whole thing was kind of that Buffy and the others represent this sort of primal force that's very contrary to science, but is very embedded in the earth and the way things work cyclically and all of that sort of stuff, and that the initiative are kind of inflicting themselves on things rather than embracing things as they are. And I feel like that was something we kind of got sprinkled in sort of a bit, but it wasn't, they never quite
there's never
more gestural. So go ahead.
There's never, in season 4, there's a moment where Buffy sort of joins the initiative people and sees how they work stuff out, but there's never a moment where all of the initiative guys join the Scoobies and see how they do stuff.
Right.
Felt it should have been a little bit more of a reciprocal relationship there with how the two investigating forces do their job, but there's never really any of that, fortunately.
Yeah. But it's kind of we land on this point where it's Buffy's way more effective than this military guy with guns. And it's of course she is. She has superpowers. But your average Joe cannot really face up against a demon without some kind of technological support, except Willow and Xander and Giles do all the time. So why aren't we talking about that? It just feels like what we end up with is kind of Buffy versus the commandos with their guns. The guns are stupid. They don't work. You need Buffy. But it's she's just one person. If what you're talking about is defense of the human race against an incurring demon threat, then having options that aren't just one woman is not a stupid idea, but we didn't ever kind of,
which is why I like season 7. That's why I win.
It's called the big red button option.
Yeah, I like that one.
I also spent a lot of time in the initiative wondering why they weren't trying to get a blood sample from her or some hair samples or they've cloned sheep by then. Why aren't they I feel like there was a missed opportunity, especially with Adam as a metaphor for DNA. What can we do with this?
Yeah. Right. They're using demon DNA to try and make super soldiers. You'd have thought that Slayer DNA was going to be a little bit more compatible on account of her being, a human being.
And you'd certainly want to try it out.
You'd think.
I'd want to try it out. And I'm not very science.
It turns out to just be bath salts. To a normal human, and you just become a monster for 7 hours and then come back and everyone's like, oh
no. It's actually really easy.
Yeah.
So does everyone's least favorite episode come from season 4 as well?
No.
See? Because no.
What's your least favorite episode, Mish?
Go Fish.
Oh my God.
It's so bad.
Katey has, okay. You You just went nuclear, and you didn't even know it. Katie?
No, I hate that episode too. I wasn't even thinking about that as my least favorite one because I just really delete it out of my mind.
You just dismissed it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like it's so terrible. And we recorded about that episode a while ago, but if you listen back to it, like I'm just having a complete meltdown during talking about it because I just get really. I realize this is probably in terms of representation. This is not like at top of anyone's like we need to fix. This is an issue we need to fix. But the swimming, the way they portray swimming in that episode, drives me insane.
Okay.
Yeah,
that is not an aspect of the episode I had previously had an issue with, but let's go.
I grew up swimming. I was a competitive swimmer for like 9 years, and it was like my whole thing. And it's just awful in that episode. The only thing good about that episode is Wentworth Miller's in it, so that's fun.
And Shane, what's his face?
Oh yeah.
Who I like. Whose last name I'm forgetting.
I remember
he was in Salem. It's weird. He actually plays a distant ancestor of mine in Salem. For if you ever watched that show, Shane West.
Yeah.
There's a bizarre and specific factoid for everyone.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Very bizarre and specific, but also it's a great show. Please watch it. People have sex with the devil in the woods.
Great.
As you do.
I was gonna have a different answer, but I'll go with Michelle's answer. Go fish.
I mean, there are, let's face it, like Buffy is awesome. There are many bad episodes of Buffy.
So my least favorite one is actually one from season 5. So we didn't record it too long ago. It's Listening to Fear. What? It's when right? Trash episode. When the initiative comes back and there's like the alien.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought.
Yeah. That's
when we talked about that though, you didn't sound like you hated it. I thought you were gonna say Into the Woods.
That's not a good episode.
That's not a good episode. No, it's not.
Oh. Is that the one where Riley comes back?
No. Episode.
Okay, when the house grows over. Yeah, that was rubbish.
And
what was called Into the Wild?
No. Into the Woods. There's a bunch that are called like.
Oh, Wild and Hard. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, that's a different thing.
So my beef with Listening to Fear is that, admittedly, a lot of the episodes haven't necessarily aged well for the time period. But the explicit victimization of the mentally ill and the mentally impaired is very cringy looking back and watching it now. And by cringy, I mean straight up offensive. That one's a big swing and a miss for me.
That's good. Fair. What about you? To Go Fish as well for you?
Go Fish.
Okay. Ted, also another least favorite.
Wait, which
Hold
one?
on.
Which one?
Ted.
Oh, Ted?
Oh, yeah, Ted. Ooh.
Abusive, violent, horrible
Reese's robot boyfriend.
Dad. Yeah. So bad. So bad.
The one thing I will say for Go Fish, I enjoyed seeing Xander in a Speedo. I found that gratifying.
I also that one.
Cordelia
and Xander.
That's a very aggressive episode. Cordelia is really good in that.
She's also enjoying Xander in a Speedo.
She does.
I
Cordelia's good in most.
And he came out of nowhere.
There are secret hotties everywhere, and that's my.
Was that the moral of the episode?
I think so. That's what I took away.
That'd be so much better if it was than anything they were trying to do with it.
Obviously,
it's okay to get raped if you're ugly.
I've never heard of when something actually works.
For me.
Say that again?
Nothing going on about the swimming thing again. It is a giant hang up of mine. I don't know why.
She hates it so much.
If you ever seen
Clearly, yeah.
Have you ever seen Pretty Little Liars too? So bad on YouTube.
Nope.
So bad.
Can it also not swim? Did it also not know how to swim?
No. And one of their main characters is a swimmer, and she has high school like scouts like watching her. Meanwhile, she's not even doing a flip turn on the wall. I'm like, this is BS.
I love that this is such a specific hate thing to like just watch television generally, because like I do that whenever they have anything with animals in television. We're just like, yeah, no, you don't do it that way.
Yeah, well, it's the same with my mom's a nurse, so anytime like a medical thing pops up, yeah, it's the same thing. Mine's just swimming is obviously not like pretty. No one really cares.
It's more specialized to swimming, because like the nurse thing, I think a lot of people in the medical profession, watch television and despair. But the swimming is very specialized.
Yeah.
So what is everyone's favorite episode to talk about happier things? One ultimate favorite right now.
Mine will always be...
You're allowed to have a different answer tomorrow.
Mine will always be Hush.
That's okay.
That's actually Hush is actually the first one I ever saw, and I think Natalie showed it to me.
I believe I did. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
I did.
Sophomore year, I don't know why you were just like, watch this episode, and I was like, whatever, fine. And then I wrote a college paper on it and got 100%.
Katey, ladies and gents.
Every excuse during college to just write about TV shows.
Yeah.
Not really about the material, but it's fine.
I really like Doppelgangland. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that one was just so it's fun. It's the original Scoobies. There's enough gravity to it, but there's not so much that it's like a tearjerker. Like it's just, I think it's just the perfect medium. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
What about you guys?
I struggle. Mad love for Becoming Part 1 and 2, and for Graduation Day Part 1 and 2, and for the prom, and for Lover's Walk, because it was one of my favorites ever.
Oh, the prom.
Yeah.
I love the prom.
You love the prom.
I cry so hard every time the little umbrella comes out. If when they're like in one of those moods where it's like, all I need is a good cry and it will make life better, I just watch the little umbrella moment on YouTube and I weep and then I feel better.
It's medicinal. Yeah.
That is a great.
I really like Normal Again.
Mm-hmm.
The one in the mental institution where Buffy's maybe cray-cray for a bit. And it's all just a
What
fantasy.
season is that?
6.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. 6.
I've actually seen that.
Spoilers!
She's got the short hair.
It's a fun one.
Spoilers, you don't know about that yet.
What?
Spoilers, you don't know
No,
that yet.
I have seen that one. I skip around. I skipped around in 6 and 7 for some reason. Don't know why.
Yeah, Renegade.
Am I correct in thinking, Katey, that you're not watching 5, 6, 7 now because you're watching it as you get there with the podcast?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which was part of our hesitation for recording The Body recently. Because Katey hadn't actually seen The Body until right before we recorded. And that's such a rough episode to spring on someone.
Yeah.
So that was definitely part of the hesitation too.
Yeah, we dragged our feet on that forever. Actually, we were on a pretty good schedule at the beginning of last year. And I did the math and realized we were gonna hit The Body around the time something might have happened in my family. So I was like, we're gonna slow this way down. And then we slowed it down so much we ended up a year later talking about The Body.
And then because we were avoiding something awful, we turned around and then we both lost grandparents right before the start of it.
No.
Yeah. Oh no. Timing definitely returned to punish us.
But I will.
Yeah. Okay. That's podcasting.
I will say, The Body's probably my second favorite though, just in terms because I think I built it up so much in my head that when I watched it, it wasn't as emotionally exhausting as I thought it would be. I just was really impressed by the art of it and just the use of the camera and the way certain shots are set up and how long they linger on certain scenes, and just like the use of the silence and the no music thing. That's also partly why I like Hush too, but for both of those reasons. So I think those two complement each other a lot, and I just really like thinking about them and really like talking about them. And part of me is like, why did it take me so long to watch The Body? Because I'm pretty sure I could have written another college essay on that.
Too late now.
Yeah. Oh well.
Go back to school, just for that.
No.
Just to write the paper. Do you want to ask us a question?
I can ask a question. So the next one is favorite song used in an episode, favorite musical moment. I assume that does not include the musical episode. That would be cheating.
It can be your favorite song from the musical episode. I think that's okay.
Let's do both.
Okay.
I don't know if I have an answer for this one.
I don't know what the song's called, but I always loved the end of season 6 song when Buffy and Dawn are digging their way out from the kind of hole that they fell into after the earthquake.
Oh yeah.
It's probably like Sarah McLachlan because he always is, but
probably.
Is it last episode of season 6?
I think it is the season 6 final. I just can't remember the title of the song.
No, I don't know.
Talk amongst yourselves and I will Google the title of the song.
I love the cover of Wild Horses at the prom when Angel shows up to dance with Buffy. That is one of those moments that I tear up, even though my prom was years ago. And I went and I downloaded that version of the song because like Wild Horses is already just a beautiful piece of music, but I thought that version of it was really great too. It was just very complimentary.
I was correct. It is Sarah McLachlan. It's Full of Grace.
That is not the end of season 6. That is.
Oh, it's the other bit where Buffy's by herself
on
in
a
the
bus at the end of season 2.
Oh man,
I know that one vehemently because I was obsessed with that song when I watched the episode. I played it on repeat, so much so that my brother, who is 3.5 years younger than me, several times had to tell me to play something else for the love of God. I had the lyrics written out in my best copper plate and stuck to my wall.
See, it's a good song.
I was very moody. I was 13.
I'm going to have to go back and look that up. We're having a hard time remembering.
Yeah, it's like the end, literally the end sequence of season 2 when she's sitting on a bus and she's crying because she just stabbed Angel in the chest. And yeah, Sarah McLachlan's Full of Grace. I've always, just for like a slightly off-piste selection, I've always really loved the Transylvania Concubani.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the song that is playing when they're setting up for Drusilla's birthday party in season 2.
Yes.
It's so weird and so like...
Drusilla walks down the stairs to it and it's so good.
Juliet Landau does the Drusilla dance. I'm just sort of like, this is just like a perfect combination of like scene and actress and song. Like I would never play the song ever like to myself but there's just something that's like beautifully like dramatic about this character listening to this song. It's just like a mad moment.
No, that is such a good scene. And like, you're right. It's you. I don't think any other music would complement that scene in that moment the way that song does.
No, it's like, it's just a sort of beautiful, like, this, some sound editor just sort of got to this point, sort of went, yes, I just nailed it today.
I deserve an award. Yeah. I think I get to that sound editor just chugging a milkshake in a parking lot, crying like 2 weeks later.
It's like, yes.
I have to go with the entire episode of Hush again. I mean, my answer for everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah, all the music on Hush is probably my favorite. It's been a while since we watched that one, so I'm not remembering like any specific use of it. I think so. There's a moment in just like the sequence is like when they first find out or they're figuring out that there's something weird going on, and music during that sequence, if I'm remembering that correctly. I don't know, I need to rewatch it, but anyway, yeah.
So always rewatch. All that music used in Hush is on the Once More with Feeling soundtrack. For if you ever want to play that while you're maybe cooking some couscous with carrots, like I do, that's a way to do it.
I'm not sure I've ever made that before, but sure.
It only works if you're cooking couscous with carrots.
The minute you put meat in that couscous, the song stops. Silence and anger.
There'll be no green beans or pork in this dish.
And also, what a perfect segue.
Oh.
To Once More with Feeling.
Oh, I see.
Not couscous.
Not this couscous. Yeah, okay. No. Mm. What's your favourite song in Once More with Feeling?
I don't know. Why do I have to go first?
I don't know. You did the segue.
Yeah, I know, to prompt other people to say words.
Fire, because there's that line, she came from the grave much graver, and I almost have it tattooed on my foot, but I didn't.
Yeah. It's also, I really like the way that's all intercut with everyone like doing the different parts. It's really nicely done.
It's a masterpiece.
And Willow's filler line.
It makes me laugh every time.
I cannot sing for the life of me, and I would really love to be able to, so I feel Willow so hard in that episode.
I have like, it's always really sad because it cuts off before the end, but I have like mad love for Where Do We Go From Here?
Yeah, I really like Where Do We Go From Here.
I like the bit where they all do the stand in the line and hold hands bit. It always makes me go,
Like, and then he cut because Spike and Buffy having a moment. It's like, no.
Go back to the singing. Finish the musical.
That's probably mine. Where do we go from here?
I do not have a serious answer for this because I have seen the episode, but I've only seen it like once or twice. It was a long time ago. So I can't do a specific song, but
fair enough.
Whatever song this is totally not a serious answer. I'm just answering to answer. There's like a lyric in there between Spike and Buffy where they bring up Angel. Yeah, it's that song. Because they bring up Angel. I'm being completely serious. Yeah, it's like
no,
I don't remember the exact lyrics. It was like something like they don't say his name, but they talk about like vampire with a soul, and then like Spike jokes about being a detective in LA or something like that.
This is a lot of blank faces right now. It's like, do you have an uncut version of the musical that we
I don't think
so. Katie found the 2-hour-long version and she's been holding out.
It does exist. It happens So it's probably the only thing I remember from the episode.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
we'll take it.
I emotionally cannot, but conversationally, let's go.
Emotionally, we'll never be over this.
We live here now.
Never. Yeah. Moving on. Favorite female character. And you totally get to say season 3, blah, because they change.
Say who? What?
Like if you want, if you like season 1 Buffy, but you have problems with season 4 Buffy, season 1 Buffy is a perfectly acceptable answer.
Oh, do you have a serious answer for this? Natalie knows what I'm going to say, but it's Faith.
She's pretty awesome.
There is nothing wrong with that answer.
A lot of what I love about her actually has to do with her character arc over on Angel. So it's not so much her stuff on Buffy. I think her journey in season 3 is really fascinating, and just the way she goes from like a frenemy friend and then to enemy, I think is really great. But a lot of her like redemption stuff happens over on Angel, which I also really like. But I think holistically across both shows, she's just really, really awesome. And I wish she got more screen time, but she doesn't.
Yeah.
I really like though that like even if you don't watch Angel, that where she appears sporadically in Buffy sort of while she's doing the character growth stuff elsewhere, you can see it. Like the performance and the storytelling is so like whole that you can see her development, like from her season 3 initial appearance and then the season 4 body swap, and then by the time she comes back in season 7, there's just so much growth that's evident, but she doesn't come back and she's a different person. You know what I mean? She comes back and she's grown, she's developed, she's changed, and you can see all of the work she's been doing in this other TV show.
One of my favorite,
when she comes back to
one of my favorite things about Faith, and like I say this, I did say this jokingly about like starting the Buffy podcast so we could eventually talk about Angel, but Faith has a lot to do with why I want to talk about Angel, and it's because of her redemption that starts over on Buffy during the body swap episodes and then kind of concludes over on Angel. I am just fascinated by like the decision, like how redemption on Angel comes down to characters' decisions. So at the end of her run in season 1 of Angel, she like turns herself in to the police, which is a decision she makes in order to take responsibility for her actions. But then in season 4, she breaks herself out of prison, which could be seen as like you're cutting your time there short, but it's a decision she weighed on like on a moral standpoint of like, Angel helped me to get to this point, now I have to help him, and her breaking out of prison doesn't like negate all of the work she's done while there. And I don't know, I'm just all of that is
totally. The thing I always loved most about that moment in season 4 Angel as well, where she breaks out, is that just it's so obvious the minute she does it that every day she's spent in prison has been a choice. Like she's chosen to be there every day that she's been there, because it's just so effortless for her to leave. She just breaks out and that's the end. That she's not in prison anymore. It's like this wasn't a prison that she was in involuntarily. It was a prison that she chose to be in.
There's like, you can see the change in her face too, because I think when Wesley first shows up, she's like, no, like whatever you need help with, I can't leave. And then as soon as he's like, he needs help, you can see like the journey on her face is like, I have to help him. It's like a moral obligation to do it. And it's just amazing. I love it.
So that's one vote for Faith. I think it's really weird for me because, like, when I first watched it, I wanted to be Buffy. Whereas, because I was quite young when I was watching it, and she was absolutely just like the shining aspiration of what you could possibly be in life. And then you kind of, rewatch it when you're slightly older, and I loved Willow, and now rewatch it even older. And like Cordelia is so cool. Cordelia is such an awesome character. Like, I hated her when I first watched Buffy because I was the right age to be horrendously bullied in school by people like her. And I now watch it, I'm like, you're so much fun. You have so much development. So I kind of have mad love for Cordelia now. Now that I'm older and over the scarring from
now
school.
that it hurts a little less.
Yeah, little tiny bit.
Yeah.
I have to say Willow through and through. When I watched it as a kid, and then even now, or I guess even in college, Willow. And then now that we're, going through episode by episode, and I'm doing a lot of reflecting, I'm realizing how much I was like Willow at all those ages. And so she is, she's my girl. She's my favorite.
Well, I love early Willow more than I love possibly any other character on television. Like, as a human being, I love her. But Buffy the Vampire Slayer is my favorite character from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
That's fair. Yeah.
I love her so much. I love her. I love everything about her.
They didn't make a show about her. She must be pretty good.
She's pretty good.
Someone
On the flip side of this, least favorite female character.
No answer for that.
Joyce, as it turns out.
Wait, did you say Joyce?
I did.
Joyce is the worst.
Yes, the amount of time I've gone off about her parenting style, and Katie has had to be like, yeah, we can't have you talking about this for 45 minutes, Natalie. It's obscene.
Not good. Just like, she is your 16-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
16 years old. She has got blood on her clothing. Where the hell are you, woman? What?
It's not abuse, but it's for sure benign neglect.
It's definitely
like why no one has called Child Protective Services on this woman is beyond me.
Because her daughter's a vampire slayer who does a pretty reasonable job of looking after herself, I guess. I think there's the inconsistency that bothers me. It's like there's this dichotomy between like you're told effectively by the show over and over that she's this really awesome parent and really supportive mum, and then she fails just over and over and over again. She improves a little bit after season 3, but it's not great.
I think it's really unfortunate though, because it's like she's not horrible, she's just written that way. Joss Whedon has literally said that he kind of wanted Buffy's mum to be a little bit like the humans in Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
I.e. provide the house and the food and the setting and just not actually be there. And then decided that Joyce was actually going to be a bit more of a character. And I do feel you can really tell that. Just like, she now needs to not be here so we can get on with the story. So she's just not here. And she doesn't ask questions because that would really ruin the story. And I don't think you can blame her for that, but equally she's the worst.
I think she ends up being Joyce is going to be my answer too, just because I don't think I can think of anyone else. But I think once Buffy goes to college, or she's still in Sunnydale, but once she's in college, she's a little bit better because then you can it's more believable that Joyce wouldn't be as involved with her. While Buffy was living at the house, it's kind of ridiculous. You're not noticing she's sneaking out every night. But I mean, Joyce's involvement in the show goes dramatically down in season 4. She's like barely there. And then I think in season 5, I think her story is just really lovely. And I kind of wish we got a little bit more of it, just because she dies, and that's really sad. For 3 seasons, 3 of the 5 seasons she's on the show, she's kind of terrible.
Yeah. So that's a lot of votes for Joyce. Professor Walsh is another person I really don't like. Just other female characters that are difficult.
Yeah.
Okay, so obvious. Now follow up is your favorite and least favorite male characters.
Someone go.
I know what Katie's going to say. I'm waiting for her to explode.
I was trying to decide if I wanted to be, what's the word? Predictable.
Is it Angel?
Yeah. It's Angel. It's Angel. Damn it.
I think, like, it's your favorite character. You get to be predictable about your favorite character.
That's true, yeah.
Hard to agree.
I think, yes, like Angel becomes a lot more dynamic on his own show, but the foundation for him and what makes him interesting is all started over on Buffy. And especially in season 3, I think they really start exploring it because they knew Angel was going to be a thing as a show. And I don't know, I realize there's some of the optics of Angel, especially in the beginning when Buffy's still like 16, are a little bit weird and questionable. Yeah, whatever. And that's what people like to fight with us on Twitter about. But his story of just like the whole redemption and soul thing is just it's like my favorite story to talk about. I don't know. And then he's just really fascinating. I think I don't know. I don't know where else to go with that, but he kind of just plays a singular role over on Buffy, which is a little unfortunate, but kind of have to do that because it's about Buffy. But anyway, we can move on.
But in conclusion, Angel.
Yeah.
Dum. I love Xander.
I know you do.
I'm not supposed to, but I do.
I know you do that.
I mean, there's many things wrong with him.
Listen, I mean, we can nitpick this whole time, but he's my favorite.
That's what's wrong.
It's also, like, I do always say this, and it's something that me and Katie have talked about before as well, which is, like, I am so stuck on my Xander crush from when I was 12. And I now know that he's problematic, but that doesn't mean that 12-year-old me doesn't love him.
Yeah.
That was the conclusion we came to in our giant Twitter exchange I think we had a while ago.
Yeah, it was when that thing was going round of, 4 fictional characters that you love more than anyone else, and I posted a picture of Xander, and you were like, what the hell?
I was not expecting to see that, yeah. Well, that's fair. Xander has a lot of great moments, and I know we are pretty harsh on him, but
as one should be.
Yeah, I think in like seasons 4 and 5, at least to what we're up to right now, 4 and 5, he's really great, and I like really love him actually.
I feel like Xander, we have to judge him, I think, in BA and AA, so like before Anya, after Anya. Because in humanizing Anya, I think he finds a beat in himself that is so incredibly lovable and is really, really actually like a profound look at how, like, I'm not going to say like a good woman, but like loving another person and investing that compassion and that time into someone else's humanity does have returns. So I actually think Xander's a really good example if you look at his arc.
I win.
Yeah.
It means I win. It does mean you win. Yeah.
Angel is also my favorite, but for the sake of tying things up, I'm going to speak for Giles.
It was going to be my next vote.
Giles is up.
It is probably really hard to be someone's like emotional stepdad, and he does it so beautifully.
And then he leaves and we all cry, and then he comes back and we're so relieved.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I love him. Also, I want Anthony Stewart Head to be my dad and also my boyfriend.
That's the conundrum.
He invented the daddy fetish. It's fine.
For an entire generation of women. There's a very particular conflict there as with Stuart Head invites.
Yeah.
What about you? Oz is my favorite. I love Oz the best of anybody.
Yes. Oz is up there. Oz is great.
He's the awesomest.
Yeah, okay. No one said Spike.
Oh, good.
No one's gonna say Spike.
No one said Spike.
It's beautiful.
That's fine.
Oz with the Pez dispenser has shaped my standard for men. It's like that scene with Oz, and then just Chris Evans as a person.
Okay.
And that's my bar for men.
Was it Chris Evans who was recently photographed wearing a mask?
No, that was Chris
carrying
Pine.
Chris Pine, who was the best the best Chris and always will be.
I have
Clearly.
ranked the 6 Chris's. Oh yeah, there's 6. Chris Evans,
Hang on. Pine,
Chris
Hemsworth,
Pine.
Evans.
Chris O'Dowd, Chris Hemsworth, Chris Messina, Chris Pratt. End of list.
Okay.
There are no more Chris's.
End of
That
Chris's.
counts. Julie says, even when I was 17 and the show originally aired, I liked Giles, and Oz was my favorite too.
That's Gilly and I are of one mind on all things.
Because you're really the same human.
Yeah,
I've
same
never
human.
seen you in a room together.
That's a lie.
I get it though.
I really want to see what the show would have been like if Oz stuck around longer.
Mm.
Also, just like Seth Green's career would have been so much better.
It wouldn't have been any of those Austin Powers films.
Jesus, yes.
Gilly
The Italian Job.
setting out. We've all been in the same room.
Well, and I think Oz had the capacity too to continue to be, really interesting and really compelling even after we bring Tara in. He's our only werewolf point of reference.
Apart from that, really, that's another female character I don't like. The Veruca girl.
Ugh.
That's true.
She's a little trash demon.
Trash Wolfie.
She is supposed to be awful. Yeah. Judy says, it's really interesting watching it later and realizing how they didn't know what to do with a love interest who was male instead of female. Like, if you watch it, you can tell why he didn't stay because they really didn't know what to do with him, which is absolutely true. They never invested in him. It's like everybody else who was part of the Scooby Gang got their own threads at some point, but Oz never really got his own threads. Like, there were a couple of werewolf episodes, but he
Not
never
Oz
really got his
episodes,
own
They were
threads. Like, you never kind of invested in his life in the same way as you invested in everyone else's.
the werewolf episodes were always the same too. It's like, Oz might have killed someone when he wolfed out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably my biggest problem with Oz is that I really like him as a character, but I'm so bored of him as a werewolf.
Yeah.
And it does become, as you say, very repetitive. And it's just like, but you're so good, and your wolf self is so boring. So that might be my least favorite male character, Werewolf Oz.
Werewolf Oz.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's not true. There's many I like more. Well, what's the little dark Colin?
The anointed one.
The anointed one.
Oh, that was
Hate
one
him.
bitch.
Favorite male character is the anointed one.
Hate him.
Boring.
He was boring.
Good death, though.
Least favorite. It's hard because there's so many men on this show that are just such tools.
Yeah.
I have a guy, and Katie knows one of them. I'm waiting.
Katie's smirking.
I don't know. I don't know there could be a lot of answers. Like you said, I don't know what you're going to say.
So the number one POS man on this show is Hank Summers.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Failure as a father, failure as a man. I don't know what he was doing in Spain, but I promise you it wasn't legal or helpful to the Spanish people
I told
at
you.
all.
We just had this conversation on Monday. He's out doing some weird, covert things, and the federal government should probably be looking for him. And then he's just double crossing everyone. That is.
Listen, I'm not saying he became like a serial killer in Spain, except that's exactly what I'm saying. He sucks and I hate him. And then my other least favorite is Riley. Because Riley's such a chauvinist, and
he does become very sucky very, very rapidly.
I think, later on Riley, like Initiative Riley, is the worst Riley.
Yeah, but there's always a spectrum of awful, you know?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a sliding scale, and it's sliding down.
Yeah.
Riley's difficult because the more you find out about him, the less you like him, which I think is quite difficult.
Yep.
Like, I quite liked Riley when he first turned up and he was just this kind of wholesome boy next door kind of a person.
I quite liked Riley when all those books fell on his head.
Right. Like, when he and Buffy would do, like, flirty cafeteria things, I thought, well, this is probably exactly what she needs. He seems like boring. You know, that's exactly what she needs at the moment. Somebody to, you know, be nice to her and, you know, buy her flowers and not be a insane
Vampire.
Drama font. But then the more you found out about him, the worse he got. And that just continued for 2 whole seasons.
Yeah. And, you know, I think another one of my problems with him is that with Angel, we kind of saw him at least communicate, and we don't really see it happen, but we know that he is buddies with Willow eventually, you know, that the two of them have that sort of like boyfriend and best friend axis relationship, which is awesome. And I felt like Riley had so much promise to have like a narrative with Willow like that. But then as soon as he gets with Buffy, he stops putting in effort with her friends and just kind of like is just negative about them all the time. And that put me off. I couldn't.
Yeah. He never fit in with the Scoobies quite as neatly as he should have done. Like, to all intents and purposes, he should have fit in really neatly. It's like, it was so different with Angel because Angel's like, the reasons he didn't fit in were so like ostentatious. Like, he was never going to fit in with a whole bunch of teenagers. It was just never going to happen. Right. And at least he was kind of like conscious of it, and they were conscious of it. So it was just kind of like, yeah, you know, kind of thing. But Riley should have been just in with the team, and he was never a team player. And that frustrated the hell out of me. The fact that he never ever joined in with the team was just like the most obnoxious thing.
It's like you should be
able to be afraid of being a team player when the team invited him into the team, as it were.
You should be able to add vanilla extract to cupcakes, but somehow
right. Exactly so. It's like, yes, no, that's exactly so. With Angel, it was always a little bit like trying to add jalapenos to cupcakes.
Right, exactly.
And you know, everybody tried their best, but it was never exactly going to work like neatly. But with Riley, it was, yeah, exactly so. Good analogy. Well done.
Thank you.
Sorry, I've got a cat like beating me up for attention.
Show everyone the cat.
Yeah, I want to see this cat.
Oh,
Howard looks so angry. Wow.
What's his name?
Howard.
I love him. He's the grumpy old man you own. It's great.
Yes.
Yeah. He's not even that old, bless him. He's 6? 5? Yeah.
I thought all cats were born 85-year-old men. Is that wrong?
I mean,
that's true.
Fact.
So what other men do you guys hate?
Just in life?
Oh, yeah, list them.
Intense hatred for Scott Hope just because he made me like him at first, and then he turned into a douche. Whereas Parker, who was the other douche in the long list of douches, I never liked him. He was always shifty as all fuck. So there was always like, no, he's just going to use you and he's going to be an asshole about it, and don't go there just immediately. But Scott Hope, you think, oh, maybe he's going to be okay. And then he wasn't.
No. Well, Parker looks like he would be like a background extra on Skins, and that's how you know he's going to be a bad dude on the inside.
Exactly. He's just like, he came in with like, I'm a college arsehole who's going to sleep with you and never speak to you again, written all over him. Whereas Scott Hope came in all like, oh, I'm just this nerdy little harmless. Oh, I just wish to take you to weird film festivals and give you inappropriate jewelry. Ooh.
He did suck.
He did suck.
It did suck.
Awful. I think I hated Scott Hope just because I could see myself at that age being taken in,
falling
by Scott
for
Hope,
it.
Whereas I never would have fallen for the Parker thing. You know what I mean? It's like I would have run a mile from the Parker thing. Whereas the Scott Hope thing, that would have got me at 17.
Yeah.
But no.
Bad man, everybody.
What other men do we hate?
My answer is Riley. We already talked about him though, so we don't really.
What were the other initiative dudes called? Because there's the little one that was quite sweet. Graham's quite sweet, and then the
Forrest
other dorky one.
The
bad one. But I think
he's the one who gets turned into a yellow demon at the end by Adam and then dies a death.
I think the problem with Forrest is that they just didn't write him well. I think there was potential to do more with him, but
he was just like commando jerk number 3. Here's your personality. Let's crank.
Yeah.
That and obviously like repressed homosexuality. Like just let him be a gay black man.
Yeah.
Not in the 90s. They didn't exist in the 90s.
According to Susan.
Yeah, right. But that I feel like that would have made him like his issues compelling, but he was never like fleshed out enough. But they clearly wrote him as like a gay man, and I want like there was never a payoff there.
Yeah.
He was coded that way, yeah.
But Graham was definitely a sweetie, so he's free to do whatever he wants.
Yeah, I like him.
I was glad he got to come back. I appreciate his episode when he did get to come back was rubbish, but I was glad to see him again. I was like, oh yeah,
they're still alive.
There's still some like reasonable humans out there doing some reasonable stuff. Look at you.
And maybe someday he'll be a U.S. senator.
Exactly. Yeah. Another brainwashed U.S. senator, and that'll be nice for everyone.
I mean.
Who knows?
I could take this to a dark place, but I won't.
This is a fun podcast about Buffy the Vampire.
Move swiftly on, don't worry.
Villains. Favorite villains. I just picked a whole bunch of questions. I'm sorry, I went completely rogue.
That's okay. You can go rogue.
The mayor.
I love the mayor. Yeah. He's so good. And his relationship with Faith is just beautiful.
Mm-hmm. It's creepy and beautiful.
Yeah.
But he's just the level of creepy he needed to be like the mayor of this town.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I feel like they wrote him so perfectly suited for the level of evil he was trying to commit.
He was born for that job. Yeah.
Yeah. I really like Dark Willow. And I also like, I know she's not like a big bad, but just Drusilla as villain is fantastic.
I think just Drusilla full stop.
Just
right.
I also think that like Spike and Drew as an entity from their sort of initial appearances were just a thing of beauty. They were just so cool and weird and screwed, and it was just a really beautiful thing.
Also, like I like Evil Angel, but after a bit I always find him exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
Like he is so evil, and he has so no purpose other than being
every
evil.
Time he comes on screen, you're being emotionally battered. It's like just the whole thing. The entire second half of season 2 is effectively the episodes just punching you in the face repeatedly. It's just brutal over and over. And there's some really intense, brilliant stuff that comes out of that, I think. But it means that for me, Dark Angel is always just this like, and this is the bit where I tear your heart into tiny pieces and stomp on for like 12 episodes straight. Just deal with it, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
I think the thing with Angelus, I really like him, but I think what I like the most about him is just the fact that the show went there and they took one of their main characters who was a generally good guy and just made him straight up evil and was like, okay, this is your villain for the season. And plus it's like the twist with the villain too, where you think it's Spike and Drusilla, but then it ends up being a character we've known for a season and a half. And that's I think just them like actually taking it to that level is what I really like about that situation. But yes, then he just kind of when you get sort of the episodic episodes in the back half of season 2, he just kind of makes an appearance to say some some creepy shit, and then he disappears for a while. But I think
I do have to say that every time I watch through season 2, I have this moment where I'm surprised at how well Brenaz is pulling it off. Like every single time I get to this point where it's like, surely he can't, like, it's just, but every single time I'm like, shit, you were really good.
Didn't see that coming.
Like I've seen through season 2, I think probably 100 times is no exaggeration, and every single time there's just a little bit of like, good God, he really, they kept that one quiet, that he could do that. They kept that very quiet.
Yeah.
Otherwise it wouldn't have worked.
No, totally. It had to be a complete transformation. It had to be like an antithesis to everything he had been before.
So good.
It's so good. Ask another question. My things died, so I don't have any questions anymore.
Favorite demon?
Clem.
Oh, Clem. Katey,
I know of him, yeah.
Okay.
Again, like, I basically know all the high level with some specifics of 6 and 7. Like,
okay. You know all the players.
I mean, essentially, if a basset hound was a demon, and I love that. Clem.
Well, now you've said Clem, like that is the correct answer. And this has now turned into a pub quiz, and that is the correct answer.
Anyone who disagrees is like not only explicitly wrong, but like morally bankrupt.
How
and oh yeah.
Are we including vampires as demons?
No.
What who do you want to choose?
Vampire Willow?
No.
They're also technically demons.
That's true.
I mean, yes.
Technically.
Vampire Willow is fun.
But I
vampires are fun.
And just
hyenas
a big part of sexual development for me. That's fine. Bury that deep.
That's just Buffy, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Listen, I'm not saying Buffy created bisexuals, but I am saying that like the bisexual boom came after Buffy.
Yep.
I don't know. There was somebody who appeared. I was trying to see who it was, but then they disappeared. So it's fine.
We've had a bunch of people pop in for like 3 seconds and then disappeared. It's like I've gone.
Yeah.
Who knows? Now I know that we've said to both of you that this was going to be an hour. Are you still good?
Yeah.
I'm going to hang out until you kick me off.
I mean, it's much later for you guys, so like
it's only 10 o'clock.
10.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, we're fine. We've not got through like more than 10 questions.
We've done half. I have just
Have you been
gone over
counting?
to the second half.
Okay.
I knew this was an issue with 4 people.
It was always going to be a
We
mess.
didn't think this through.
It just means we'll have to collab again.
Oh, no.
Do a part 2.
Yeah.
Could you Angel?
Yes.
We'll talk off air. We'll
Okay,
talk off
we will
air.
talk. I'm so down for that.
Character you relate to the most. Go back to the questions.
Willow season 3.
Ooh, good answer.
Aww. Yeah.
So like I'm not as much of a like insecure mess as season 1, season 2 Willow. I have a little bit more like security. I've come into my own. I have a little bit of like more mojo than that, I think.
You're okay with the bit where you're a Willow.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. I've come to terms with my Willowness. I'm embracing the Willow.
Willowing all day long.
Also, I just like pencils.
I don't think I have a good answer for this. But I think my first answer would be Oz. When I'm not on a podcast, I can be just
a full Oz.
Yeah, where I don't talk very much. I've got really like the resting bitch face going on. Yeah. Also,
I'm
I'm really good at just like one-liners.
Yeah, she's zany.
You might have to ask my coworkers about that one. I don't know. I like to think I am, but
so Katie can confirm this. I'm probably a pretty even split between Willow, obviously, and Anya. Katie?
Okay. Anya, yeah.
Yeah.
Tagged out the window. Sorry.
What?
I said tagged for you out the window.
That's true. And not in the money sense, but I really feel like just as a person in the world who has had a lot of really bizarre experiences, I relate to that element of Anya. And also like trying to be human despite those experiences is definitely like, you know, conscientiously, like I want to plug in and I want to be a better humanitarian. And that's like constantly, that's like my internal engine. So I think that part of me is pretty Anya. But in like later seasons, like not season 2 Anya, not even season 4 Anya, maybe like 6, 7 Anya.
Not like cutting off penises.
I mean, listen.
Don't admit to anything.
Yeah, no, it's live. I haven't done anything.
This is being recorded. Don't admit to anything.
Don't call the police on me.
Yeah.
It has to be Xander. It has to be Xander.
That's not a bad one, though.
Sorry.
That's a good one.
Like, yeah. And, you know, he grows and he gets better and he screws up dramatically and, yeah.
But he does it all with so much love and so much courage, even when he doesn't want to have courage. And I think that's admirable.
I got you. Alexander vindication. So there's a lot of Xander vindication during this conversation.
I like that. I'm going to throw this out there and then I'm going to run away for 1 second. Character who didn't get enough screen time. Go.
Oz would be my obvious answer, having just had a conversation about how he's a little underdeveloped and doesn't really get enough stuff to do.
Okay, after Oz. I think we'll all agree with Oz.
I think given what they did with her later, and just because I'm in a very season 1 kind of a mindset, they underused Darla criminally.
That's a good
Buffy.
Like
they killed her way too soon. They should have had her stick around and do more stuff. That would have alleviated the irritation of the Anointed One a little bit if the Master had somebody else to talk to in those later season 1 episodes. They underused her.
I use Darla as an answer too. It's, especially since she's so cool over on Angel. The fact that she dies in episode 7 of season 1 is kind of ridiculous. Right. And even when they kill her off, she's just like, she's such a one note.
Well, it's a Monster of the Week episode. You know, fundamentally, she's the Monster of the Week. She's
that
kind of would have been fine. I wouldn't have minded if we hadn't seen like her potential later. So it kind of feels like a wasted opportunity in retrospect.
And back.
You're back.
I'm going to say Anya.
We had wasted potential.
Anya. Darla.
Yeah. We all kind of agree on Oz, but we're doing secondaries. Yeah, I'm going to say Anya just because she's, 9,000, 7,000 years old? Like, I feel like she has so many stories packed in and so many different, like, wild experiences, both when she was human and then now that she's, like, learning again. Like, I would love to have a 15-minute segment of, like, Anya learning about ATMs. That would be so rewarding to me. So I'm gonna say her.
I do think, I mean, they did use Anya for her kind of comedy potential as well as her learning humanity, but there was so much more that they could have done with that.
Her whole human life is just so tragic.
Yeah.
And for a show that loves tragedy, I feel like they didn't embrace that enough.
I think they always went a little bit more for the shock factor around that. You know, the whole bit where Buffy then stabs her and where she goes back to being a vengeance demon and then she loses it again. It was all a bit shock factory. And I think they could have lent more into the emotional side of that.
Definitely.
I'm assuming we've said Faith.
No.
More Faith.
I thought about saying Faith, but I think if she had more screen time on, I guess it depends on when you want more screen time for her, because if she had more screen time in early Buffy, then she might not have made it on to Angel, where a lot of character development happens. But maybe there's some like later stuff of Buffy that she could have been a part of.
Yeah, I guess with Faith it is more that she absolutely got the full arc. It's just half the arc was in a different show.
That's why Wesley wasn't my choice for that.
Oh yeah.
If he hadn't transferred over to Angel, then I would have said Wesley Wyndham-Pryce.
Oh, Wesley.
Such a snack. Such a guilty
He was
snack.
so fun.
He's ridiculous even on Buffy.
I mean, early Wesley with Cordelia, it's just the most delightful stuff.
It's amazing.
It
is amazing.
It's beautiful.
Love him.
What have we got next? Character you like that everyone else hates?
Xander.
I mean, not everyone hates Xander, but yes, Xander is the best, but also the worst.
Wait, sorry. This is liked, but everyone else hates. Okay.
Yeah. So a character you like that's generally unpopular.
Natalie's dying in her screen there.
I don't even know what are you gonna say. Just say it.
It's so controversial.
Okay. Say it.
I don't hate Dawn.
Oh, I don't either.
I really sympathize with her. I don't empathize with her. Dawn and I are drastically different people, but I feel for her.
Mm-hmm.
I feel very, very differently about Dawn as an adult than I did when I was watching at the time. Because I was I was pretty much Dawn's age when I was watching season 5 of Buffy live. And I found the character so offensive.
Because you think
that's how I behave? You think that's how 14-year-olds behave? My God, it's it was sort of mortifying, especially since Buffy starts when Buffy herself is 2 years older than Dawn. It's just the sort of disconnect between how the character was written and how she was portrayed. Because basically, that they had originally planned for her to be 12.
Okay.
So they originally wrote her
to
12, and then they, with between casting and an actress who's 16 and therefore legal to work is way, way easier than casting a little kid.
Right.
And I think the stuff in the storyline that they wanted her to do was just going to be really difficult with a kid that young.
Yeah.
But there was initially a disconnect between how old they initially intended her to be and how old she ended up being. So I think you could really tell, particularly in the first few episodes she appeared in. But I have massive sympathy for her as an adult because she's a kid. She's a little kid who's in just way over her head, and things keep happening to her that are really, really not her fault.
A lot of Dawn's story, we're right in the middle of it right now on our podcast, and it's just I feel like we talk about it all the time. I'm always like, poor Dawn. She's having a major existential crisis.
Yeah, many existential crises. I do wish she'd scream less.
Oh yeah.
In season 5 particularly, stop screaming. It makes me want to hit you.
That's true, yeah.
That's not okay. You're a little girl.
Doesn't mean I won't.
Yeah.
I think the other thing with Dawn for me is also just the amount of abuse and hatred and, you know, death threats that Michelle Trachtenberg got was insane. And therefore, I can't dislike Dawn because that stuff's disgusting.
Yeah.
And what is wrong with you people? Which, you know, makes me like Dawn a lot more than I might otherwise.
Oh, sure. I guess I like the juxtaposition of, you know, Buffy, who's very moral, and then you have Dawn, who's like a little kleptomaniac, borderline sociopath sometimes. And I liked that. So I don't hate her. I feel for her. And I think it's kind of fun to watch her just be like a whiny 14-year-old little deviant.
Yeah. Solid all-around vote for Dawn.
Yeah.
What we got? Favorite Spike-centric episode?
Okay, actually, since you guys sent me the list of questions, I've been like thinking about this question specifically. So I have an answer. Like for a week. It's Fool for Love is probably my favorite.
That's a good one.
Spike-centric one. Just because there's not really like that episode's a little bit different because there's not really a case that anyone's working on. It's Buffy and Spike having a conversation, and we get a lot of backstory to Spike, and plus there's like a lot of the technical stuff with the editing and splicing the scenes together, and we just get to see this whole history that we've heard about, but then we get to see it, and it ties back to what Buffy's going through in the beginning of season 5, which is trying to learn more about the Slayer history, which I like all of that stuff. I don't know why it took season 5 for her to be like, I need to learn about my history, but whatever. And then, of course, the sort of parallel episode on Angel also like dives into that stuff as well. But Fool for Love is a pretty great Spike one, especially because I've always liked Spike and he's more in the villain role, and I think more in the villain role in that season 5 episode. Even the larger context of him in like 4 and 5, he's sort of in that frenemy role now. But that episode, he definitely feels more like that villain that we met all the way back in season 2.
And we get to see him in his punk leather gear, which is very satisfying. So I'm going to agree with you there.
And that fight scene with Nikki
on the
Nikki
train.
Wood is so cool. The whole thing is so cool. And it's one of the best fight sequences that in the whole show. It's amazing.
She's an athlete. I don't have the actress's name in front of me.
Just the whole thing is just like I can't remember what the actress is called either. But
superb.
Yeah, the whole thing is just it's brilliant. Beautiful.
Also,
beautiful
just
stuff.
so unreasonably attractive, both of them. That is one sexy train carriage.
Yeah, violent train carriage.
I wouldn't want to be in it,
No.
but I'd like to be in the one next to it watching. It's really hard because that is so good. I'm now stuck on that, and yes, the outfit is good. It's good. I quite like. I'm not a massive fan of Principal Wood, but I quite like Lies My Parents Told Me.
Yeah.
Oh.
When they have the big face-off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, mostly because it's just like the first time where Spike just actually takes control of his life.
It feels like vindication. It feels like you're finally getting Spike back. You know, It feels like we always knew he could do it. We always knew he was in there somewhere, and kind of.
But you're getting him back because he's making his own choices.
Right, yeah. It feels very deliberate.
Choices.
That's
Always
a good one.
comes down to choices in the Buffyverse.
Anything else? Any other Spike episodes? We happy with these choices?
I'm happy with these choices.
I'll stand.
Just
yeah.
Cool.
Best Xander-centric episode?
I think you should answer first.
All of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what it is.
I don't know which your favourite one is.
I don't know. Maybe not my favorite ever, but I don't know. They're all my favorite. I don't even know what the episode is. It's the speech you gives in season 7.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh. It's been more of a Xander moment than a Xander episode. I have to be persnickety.
It's the best Xander moment, and it's awesome. If it's the best Xander episode, it's the one where he's not a dog, coyote.
Hyena.
Hyena, thank you. It's like
I was not expecting that, but that's cool.
It's mostly that was literally the first moment when I was watching Buffy again when I was very, very small, and I imprinted on Xander when he suddenly becomes the hottest thing in school.
That's great.
He's incredibly attractive in that episode, and I can't be held responsible.
I could not agree with that sentiment more.
Look at her face. What's wrong with you? The moment where he's closer, when he turns to camera and like he flicks his tooth. Oh, it's good. Someone else go.
I like that.
Swamp.
Is it season 2 or season 3? I think it's season 3. The season 3 episode is. I don't remember what it's called. I guess I could look it up. But it's the one where everything is like has turned into like a drama. Like there's an apocalyptic drama happening in the background, but what is it?
You mean the Zeppo?
Yeah, the Zeppo. That's what it is. I love that one. Because it messes with the like, genre a little bit. Yeah, I like that one.
So I always struggle with the zombies. Yeah. Like generally in any sci-fi, I'm really not a fan of zombies.
Yeah.
And that's a whole lot of zombie in one episode.
Again, a controversial opinion. Hell's Bells. Because I think that's the time when I've hated him most, but also forgiven him most. It's just so nuanced and so human.
Yeah, it is unbelievably human. I think that's the kind of nice thing. It's not just, it's just massive to, he came back from the future to say, it's like, no, it's just, you're scared.
Right. And I think we know Xander like grapples with fear, and we see him rise to the occasion quite a bit, even if it's reluctantly. And I think in Hell's Bells, like having him experience like, I guess like a loving failure is neat. And I really, I think that's some of Nicholas Brennan's best acting on the show. So I'll say Hell's Bells.
Fair enough. Rivlet?
I've really struggled because, like, whilst there's...
Because you don't like him. Get out of here.
there's a million moments where I love Xander as a character madly. His episodes are, like, as a collection, some of my least favorite in the show generally. Like, The Zeppo is one of my least favorite episodes of season 3. The Replacement is one of my least favorite episodes of season 5. Like, he just doesn't have the best episodes. I think his episodes tend to like bring out the things that I like least about him. Like I think when brought into central focus, like the aspects of his personality which I find most difficult tend to be ones that are most present. Whereas I think when he is more of a supporting character, more of a background character, more of a character who is there literally as characters, he's one of my favorites. Like some of my favorite moments in the show are moments where he's playing that role, and the big obvious ones are, exactly like his speech to Dawn, we see everything because nobody's watching us, and the yellow crayon, and even like God, I can't remember what the episode's called, where Riley leaves on the helicopter forever.
Oh, and he does the speech to Buffy.
I love his speech to Buffy. The kind of like screw ultimatums thing. Like either you want him or you don't. You just have to make a decision. I think beautiful character and like a beautiful moment of like character clarity. where you kind of see the sort of truth of someone. But I just feel like all of his episodes, which are mostly comedic episodes, and play into a comedy that I don't think is Buffy's best style of comedy. I think they do comedy better when it's not Xander-focused comedy. So it's just, I do struggle.
Oh, the other Xander episode, of course, the one where he does the love spell and everyone wants to sleep with him.
Oh, Bewitched, Bothered, Bewildered. Yeah. Oh, that's not a good one. That's not good. That's so problematic on so many levels, right? Like from a character perspective, that is just such a problematic thing to do in so many. As
someone who's on the edge about Xander Ruth, I'm surprised that you say you like the moment in Into the Woods. Natalie and I collectively hate that episode.
Yeah.
It's not an episode that I like. It's not an episode I like at all, and I kind of hate that she runs for him. That Buffy runs for Briley because he's clearly proven himself to be an utter waste of space by that point. But I like Xander telling her that if she wants a thing, that she just needs to make up her mind and go for it, and that speaks to me. Like, that speaks to me as a kind of friend moment. I wish she didn't make the choice that she made, but I kind of appreciate what he's trying to do for her.
I don't see it that way. I think we definitely tore that apart, but that's a good... Sometimes when you get two people on a podcast who agree on stuff, you just kind of go through the roof on it, but that's a good point. Yeah.
I think we're all forgetting the best Xander episode, and that is Go Fish.
Wow. Two characters that you wanted.
Always Teacher's Pet, of course, just to throw that one into the mix.
Oh, that one makes me so uncomfortable. Oh.
As it should. As it.
I think.
Didn't we work out that Teacher's Pet was the first episode you ever saw?
It was the first. That was the first episode I ever saw, and I still came back.
That's wow.
I mean, you were young and stupid, so
I guess now that we're talking about Teacher's Pet, I guess it's because I watched Buffy for the first time before high school. I watched some of the later seasons when they aired, but not like the first ones. And then I feel like it prepped me for high school to be filled with like way more like pedophiles and sex offenders than there actually were. Which, like, don't get me wrong, like there were some, but not nearly as many as.
And none of them were giant insects.
No. They were just just regular pervs.
Good.
Yeah.
Not good, but.
Huh.
Oh, Teacher's Pet is a bad episode.
And it's gross.
As far as like male characters that we hate, I can't remember his name, but what's the other dude that's in that episode that's in the basement with Xander?
I don't know.
I can picture him and I hate him too.
He's called something like really, he's called like Blaine or Kyle or something. Yeah, exactly. It's called something. One of those
generic
names.
white American boy name. Yeah.
Right, exactly. One of those names where you go, well, you were never going to be part of the central cast, now were you?
No way, called Blaze.
Get away with you. You're clearly supposed to date Cordelia for an episode and a half and then die horribly. That was clearly your fate. Or to be eaten by a giant praying mantis.
Your pick.
Rest in peace, douchebag number 3, whose name we didn't know. What are two characters that you wanted to get together and never did?
This is cheating, so this isn't my answer, but it's a little bit my answer. Xander and Dawn. Like, not on the show, because, like, she's a child, but, like, they end up together later on in the comics.
I was going to say, they do.
Yeah, which is why it's, like, kind of cheating. But, like, years later, like, after she's of age.
Yeah.
But that's not a good answer, so...
Oh, sorry, I haven't read the comics, but there is a bit of me that thinks, okay, but is this just fulfilling Xander's fantasy of always having wanted to sleep with Buffy?
No, it's much... So I haven't read that exact comic. I've only read some of the comics. No, it's actually really organic. I think it's born from their mutual experience of being normals in a group of specials. Yeah, so it plays out much more organically. It's not creepy at all.
Fair enough.
But I guess
I have no idea. I can't.
There is an element where everyone kind of had a thing with everyone at some point.
Yeah. Maybe.
I would have really liked Giles to end up with that nice lady that draws the gentleman. Olivia.
She was nice.
She was nice. She didn't die. He totally could have continued dating her.
Maybe he did. You don't know.
If Jenny had lived.
Oh.
I think there was a slightly like, that might have been a thing in Xander and Faith.
Yeah.
I think they might have been, if like
they could have been good for each other.
Obviously, they hit each other at just like a bad point in life, but I think they might have been really good for each other if they had managed to like match up in their kind of psychosexual development.
I mean, they did together, but like
right. But like,
you mean like proper together?
Proper together. I think they actually could have, if they like managed to foster a relationship that was based on something other than, you know, a violent and gratuitous sex, that they might have actually been.
Faith was not in a good place at the time.
She was not. But I think, you know, one of the things that might have helped Faith is actually developing a relationship with somebody who just liked her, just as she was, and thought she was nice rather than just fit. And I think she would not have taken any crap from Xander whatsoever, which is maybe what he needed at that point in his development.
He does end up with Anya.
Right.
And that's not very dissimilar.
I don't know. See, I think the thing about Xander and Anya, I think the problem...
Zanya.
I think the problem with Xander and Anya's relationship is she needs him so desperately. I think there is a slightly problematic power imbalance in their relationship. Like I like them together in a lot of ways, and I think they're quite sweet together, and you know they clearly love each other a lot, and that's nice. But I think she's just so dependent on him as a tie to like life and humanity and everything, that she's just so alone and so confused and so like in the middle of a whole bunch of stuff that's just completely foreign to her, that she clings onto him as kind of the only anchor point in her whole life.
Yep.
And he's just really bad at being single. And I think that's sort of why they end up together more than anything else.
But later on.
I mean, later, like I don't have like an issue with them kind of generally. And I think, you know, they could have, if things had played out a little bit more slowly and organically, then things might have ended up very differently for them. And I could see them like making it work, you know. But I think like the problem with Xander and Anya, certainly through the kind of season 4, season 5, where the body of their relationship is that she's just there's a power imbalance. She needs him way more than he needs her.
Oh, absolutely. Giles and Willow too.
There could have been a thing. There could have been a thing.
Like if we got rid of Kennedy and Willow had started hooking up with Giles, we don't know what happened in England. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. So I was always bizarrely charmed by the Giles and Anya moment in Tabula Rasa. I was always bizarrely charmed by the idea that they thought they were married and then just pretended they were married for another. So that made me really. They could have been, you know, just running a magic shop together.
They were delightful and they
quietly hating each other from two different ends of the retail counter. It could have been beautiful.
But also, like,
it was a sitcom.
That's like a real marriage, you know?
I know.
No, that's a good point. I like that.
So wrong, it was almost right.
It's literally the bit where he finds the plane ticket and he's like, no wonder I'm leaving you. And it's like, oh man. Yeah. That was fun.
Poor Anya.
Poor Anya.
It's really rough.
Yeah, she gets very few wins.
Then she gets chopped in half. Well, that's a sticky end to a sticky situation.
It's definitely a loss.
Sad for her.
Oh, this is a fun one. Favorite example of 90s special effects?
Anytime I think about Buffy, I think about the season 1 episode of with Puppet. And I think specifically think about the puppet trying to stab Buffy. And that is all I think about sometimes when I think about Buffy.
Oh, that's awful.
That's not even an awful special effect. That's just awful puppetry, yeah.
Yeah, but I think I guess you're right, but like that's all I think about. And just like the sequence is so bizarre. Like it's not edited well together, I don't think. They're trying to like raise the tension with it, and I'm like, it's a puppet trying to stab our main character. I don't think that's how she's gonna go out, for one, and two, he's not. I mean, he's creepy, but he's I don't know.
But you could literally just stand on him. That's my rule with animals. Like anything that I can sit on the head of can't be scary. It can't get me.
You're bizarrely scared of bears if that's the case.
Tiny legs. Of course, I don't want to kill them. Like if I sat on a spider's head, he'd be dead, and I don't want that. But like like a fox, they're quite vicious. But if I can sit on his head, which I can, it's not going to kill me. It makes sense in my head.
The mayor transformation into the giant snake monster is the bit that always makes me like wince.
So bad.
I couldn't sit on that head
because like it's so majestic and heroic. The whole sequence, they've got the throwing off of the graduation robes and the pulling out of things, and then it's like, oh, that looks so bad. We were doing so well. Oh no. It's so bad, and then he talks, and it gets worse.
At least he's not on screen for so long.
It's the moment just before they blow everything up, and he goes, "Uh-oh."
So bad.
They do another giant snake thing in season 5, and it's like also terrible.
Yeah, no, it's not great.
Oh god, frat house penis
Oh
demon.
no, I love the penis demon.
And Double Meat Palace penis demon. There's so many penis demons.
I mean, isn't that just what we call men?
Too.
No, yeah, Reptile Boy, that demon coming out of the well, that's bad. And Double Meat Palace penis demon, that's bad.
Amy's mom and going into the trophy. Also, Amy is a rat.
And
Amy's lovely. She did
but I don't like the special effects around it.
Is it a whirly effect?
And then when her mom gets put in the trophy, I hate that when the eyes on the trophy move. But then also, I feel like we never talk about this, but we need to. And that is that they blew up Amy's mom. Like she is an unknown fatality when the high school goes down, and that's a problem.
I never thought of it.
Guys, there are so many Sunnydale detectives that have been trying to solve this missing persons case that will never have answers. And I'm so mad about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've literally never worried about that. But also, I don't know, she might still be just in the rubble.
I mean, if you find a half blown up trophy, aren't you just going to like, maybe she's in the Pacific Ocean garbage pile island.
Maybe she got eaten by a turtle.
Maybe.
But then wouldn't it be possible?
Maybe she killed the turtle.
Are you telling me there's an evil sea turtle now? Because that's upsetting.
How did the ocean?
How
did it get to the ocean?
Because that's where you're responsible.
I mean, it's
garbage.
a harbor.
What?
It does have a harbor. It does have a harbor. There's no denying it. Sunnydale, landlocked as it is, seems to have a port.
That's how it gets.
The thesis statement of our podcast.
You've got there.
How big is Sunnydale?
Oh, don't. I already sent Katie my maths.
We will be here forever.
I can't. Natalie, I'll forward you that email. Ruth like really broke it down more than we do, and it was like kind of insane. So
is it gonna make my Ruth? Yes. Okay, thank you.
I can't think about it. There's too many problems. There's too many variables. It just doesn't work.
It's yes. Do you? Yes. I'm so glad someone else has obsessed about this to the level I have.
It's like thank you
for being. But basically, it all boils down to, by my calculations, there can only reasonably be a vampire population of about 12 in Sunnydale at one time.
I mean, they do make and kill a lot of vampires, so you could just have a constant turnover of 12.
Could only really sustain.
Yeah. But if you had a constant turnover vampires. And 12 at all times,
which considering Buffy slays at least 2 or 3 every time, it's just it doesn't work.
But where are all these people that are desperate enough to move to a town with such a high murder rate?
Well, you must be able to get a house there for like $3,000.
My guess is $3. Given the murder rate, like
they actually pay you to move in there. There's some sort of equity scheme. It's like, well, we'll just give you a house. That's fine.
Yeah, that must be it. Honestly,
but we'll be populous and commerce, and we need to obviously support our vampire population. We need more people, so we'll just give you a house. Yeah.
I also like the house is going to be empty pretty soon when that person dies, and you just give it to the next person. It's a pyramid scheme for vampires.
Honestly, aren't most pyramid schemes? Shots fired.
They all kind of work that way. I think I don't know if this is going back to the original unaired pilot.
Yeah.
My favorite special effect is when they first decided that vampires, once they get staked, were going to fall down and then mold over.
Have you seen
yeah, I have. I went to go find it.
It's a thing.
It's a thing of beauty.
It's a thing to watch. I think there's a lot of stuff that you're glad that they didn't go in that direction ultimately, but the vampire dusting is an extreme moment.
It's literally just pile of mold.
What?
And it's not good.
That's upsetting.
They like rot and fast forward.
Yeah, they kind of cocoon.
Yeah,
it's not good. There's the original actress for Willow too. It's not the greatest.
See, that's part of why I haven't watched it, because I love Alison Hannigan so much. But now that I hear that the vampire dusting was bad, I'm like, oh shit, I want to watch it.
I mean, you could probably watch it on YouTube.
I might.
It's more an interesting thing, and kind of like how the cookie's made, kind of a watching experience, rather than this is a really great episode of television that you should watch.
Sure.
But interesting developmental stuff.
What else have we got? Favorite Buffyverse quote?
So this can be across both shows.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Buffyverse. Comics and everything.
I meant to look this up before, but
I guess we could also do quote or speech to make it easier.
I'm going to go back to She Came from the Grave, Much Graver, from Once More with Feeling. That one speaks to my little depressed heart. What about you guys while Katie's looking?
I like the Lie to Me speech.
Yeah.
That Giles delivers. And like that beat before Buffy goes liar is beautiful. Like just the most stunning timing.
He really is just a magnificent actor. I would love to see Anthony Stewart Head on stage.
We saw him on stage. God, 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, a while ago.
He was
in
brilliant.
what show?
What was it called?
I can't remember what it was called. It is basically a kind of This is what marriage is like.
Huh?
Sort of think piece. What was it called? Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah,
Katey, have you looked up your quote? And
it's the quote Spike says, Angel season 5, after Fred, or they're trying to say Fred, and he's talking about the hole in the world, and he's like, there's a hole in the world, feels like we ought to have known. There's like stuff before that, but
no, that's a great episode and a great quote. If we talk about Angel, I have endless things to say about a hole in the world. I have the script for a hole in the world, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not like a signed script, it's just a bound script of that episode.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
there's a million other Angel quotes. Like the biggest one is doesn't matter what you do, or all that matters is what you do. I'm butchering it, but it's something like that.
Yeah, the epiphany quote, right? If nothing
you do matters, then all that matters.
If nothing you do matters, then all that matters is what you do.
Yeah.
We got there.
I'm not up to speed on my Angel quotes.
It's a good one.
Oh God. I love Spike's Lovers Walk thing. You know, you're not friends, you'll never be friends. That's beautiful. As far as ones that I enjoy saying most in everyday life, it's a big rock. Can't wait to tell my friends. Is well up there.
We say that so often all the time.
I love the voiceover in Passion. That is one of my favorite pieces of writing ever. It's beautiful.
I also like that, because that starts the episode and ends the episode, and I think that's beautiful as well.
Yeah.
I always, and anytime I watch that episode, I don't know if you're supposed to take it this way or anything, but sometimes I like to think that the voiceover is Angel, not.
Yeah, it sounds a bit like it could be. Yeah.
I always assumed it was.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, it's like
it's ambiguous.
I think it's supposed to be ambiguous. I always had this thing where I thought maybe it might have been interesting if it had been Jenny Calendar doing the voiceover.
From Beyond the Grave.
Just as a sort of alternate thing. Yeah. I mean, it's cool that they didn't, but just like, that would have been an interesting, like, new take on the thing.
I like the what's the speech? You know, where Spike's on the roof and he's watching Angel do the Angel thing and he mocks him.
Oh, that's good.
And it's like doing the voices for Angel and the girl that he's rescuing.
I used to be able to do that literally word for word.
Yeah.
Like, just bang it out.
I used to have that set as this is back in the days when you just discovered all the things your laptop could do.
Yeah.
And you did all the weird stuff. I used to have that as the startup
nice
music when I opened my laptop. So that was fun.
That's awesome.
Like mocking Angel.
I use I say out for a walk, bitch, to my dog all the time.
Yeah, that's it. That's another one that can be easily utilized in everyday life.
Again, this is one of the ones that I had as a soundbite, and because I've had them as audios, when they come up in the episode, they just sound super weird. Because it literally sounds like it's dubbed over itself, because I'm so used to listening to it as a isolated clip. So that one, and he says bitch really weirdly as well. So he's always like, out for a walk, bitch.
Yeah.
And then he drops an octave while he says it. I struggle with that because it's weird.
I mean, you're not wrong.
You won't be able to not hear it now.
I know, that's what I'm thinking.
Probably move on. Favorite Scooby mode? Just because we've been really mean to season 4 and the initiative and all of that, rightly so, I really like when they all team up at the end. And Xander's the heart, and then Buffy's like an Uber.
That's what I was going to say.
It's the only good bit about that season, let's face it.
Well, and Hush.
True.
There were a few good episodes.
I mean, Hush in my head is just not part of season 4, is it? Just by itself.
I like any time they're in the library. Like, I don't think there's even a specific scene, but I think just the visual of, the Scoobies in the library just brings me such joy.
Mm-hmm. I don't know whether you're seeing this alert as well.
Probably not.
But turns out we have managed to reach the recording capacity of GetVokl. We have 5 minutes to get through 4 questions.
Okay,
we can do this.
We can do this.
4 questions. We've got 4 questions left. We have 5 minutes.
1-word answers.
Any other moments?
The Earth is doomed.
Yellow crayon.
Nice.
Well, wait, what was the question?
Nice. And any other Scooby moments before we move on from the Scooby question? I think the Earth is doomed both the first and the second time. I love it both times. Saddest moment.
End of season 2.
I mean, yes.
Yeah.
All of it. Tara.
It's so brutal. I mean, I think Buffy, like, there's happy sad and then there's sad sad, because, like, for me, like, the biggest cry is always going to be Prom and the little umbrella, but that's happy cry.
Right.
But we've talked about that before. It's like the Prom is just like 45 minutes of solid tears.
Yeah.
I just start crying at the beginning of that episode and I don't stop for 45 minutes. It's just, and then the emotional roller coaster is insane. It's like, oh, I'm happy because they're all snuggly in bed and it's adorable. And then he breaks up with her and that's, devastating. And then she gets a pink umbrella and then he comes to the dance. It's just like, I can't cope. It's just too much.
Yeah.
Oz leaving and then Oz leaving again.
Well, and the bit in the Prom that always gets me where I never expect it to, so I've just like eased out of crying and then I'm just like in it again, is where she's standing in the library getting all armed up and Giles goes, Angel's not taking you, is he? And she turns around and she goes, Angel's leaving me, and she just walks out and it's just like, I'm dead. I'm just dead.
Like, okay. Character you love to hate.
Spike.
I don't hate him, but part of me does, though.
The mayor.
Ooh. The mayor's good.
Principal Snyder. I enjoyed hating him.
Principal Snyder's a good one.
He was an enjoyable person to hate.
Is he the one who gets eaten by the students? Or
no, that's Principal Flutie.
That's Flutie, isn't it?
I enjoyed hating him as well, to be honest.
He sucked too.
Just, they're all bad.
Yeah, they're bad, patriarchal men being bad.
And on that note, last question. Just while we have 2 minutes left. Let's sum it up. What do you think makes Buffy so great? Easy question to finish.
Well, it's 20 years later and we're both talking about it on 2 separate podcasts. So it's got to be great for some reason.
I think it's the women. It's female roles that feel like women we could in our real lives.
Yeah, realistic women, absolutely.
And flawed women.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a show about being deeply, deeply fundamentally human. That vampires and demons and superheroes aside are all just a vehicle for talking about humanity. And it is more deeply human than almost any other show I've ever seen.
And that's what you said earlier, Katey, is the fact that at the end of the day, like, it always comes down to choices.
That's why I like Buffy and Angel.
And I think that, it's such an important message that I think is through all of the show, and Angel as well.
And I think it's so subvertively moral. There's every episode, really everything we come down to in all of the Buffyverse and all these shows if you really boil it down and you peel away theme after theme after theme, it's always the golden rule. It's the root of a good life is recognizing humanity in others. And that's, I think it's just such a comprehensive thesis, right? That if you choose to be human, you can expect humanity.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think we nailed this.
I think we did. I think that's pretty